Hey guys, it's Anne. We have started to do mini episodes with each individual person doing their own episode. So you have me, Marie, Jovi, and Kinsley if they would like to. And I'd imagine we're setting this up like we all have our own specific little playlist on YouTube. So you'll obviously be able to find my videos by myself. But today's video, probably as you could tell from the title and thumbnail, is about test prep. Now, before we get into this, I give all credits to the Learning Center with University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill, and I will be saying what facts are from their website, Studying 101, Study Smarter, Not Harder. Now, these are from me and from them, so you have university-backed research to help with your test prep and studying guides. Okay, so the first thing I can say is to get into the mindset of what you are doing. What helps me a lot is really sitting myself down and saying, I'm gonna study. This is it, I need to do it, so this is what we're gonna do. Get that checked off of your checklist. Next thing to do is get devices that are not being used to study, like a phone or a computer, though computers can be used to study, away from you. Picking up my phone is one of the hardest things that I struggle with when studying. Like, I just want to go to my phone and not study, but I know my grades will suffer if I don't study. So another thing that helps me is turning on background music or just noise to focus. So you could put on white noise or instrumental. Instrumental helps me, especially when I'm doing stuff for my AP class. But any music that will help you focus will really work. And the hardest part of studying is starting to do it. I've noticed once I start to study and I get into the flow of it, I get really into it and I don't even notice how much time has gone by and how much I've studied until I'm like halfway done or done with it. And I realize it's been an hour and I've studied all the material for my class, which, is a good thing. So the next part is the actual studying. First thing to do is gather all your material that is needed. So for example, for my AP class, I have a textbook that I will work out of and take notes on, which is going to be a big part of my class especially because it's a year-long class. So I'll get my textbook, I'll get all my pens and highlighters because those will help me organize my notes, and I will get all the paper and the pencil that I'm going to be using to take notes. So once you have all your materials, you cannot just read and reread a text. According to the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill on their website, it does not engage your brain, and I can totally see where they say that. If you just read and reread it and you're not really critically thinking and absorbing the information, so you're not really studying it and you will have a harder time memorizing it. Now, for some things, at least, and this is my personal take on it, reading it does work, but you have to go about it as a certain way and you can't just do it mindlessly. Write notes out yourself. Like I said, my AP class, writing notes is a lot of our homework assignments. So writing notes out yourself and physically writing it in your own handwriting and not copying text from the book really helps. I know I've heard multiple adults in my life say that handwriting notes is better than typing them because you'll physically remember them better because you have to do the motion of writing it. Another thing from the University of North Carolina is talk it out loud to yourself in your own words or act like you're teaching a class for it. If you just read off of slides or your textbook, like I said, you're not critically engaging your brain, and that's really not going to help you in the long run. So if you just take your note sheet and you look at the topic and you read it out to yourself in your own words and you look back at it and make sure you have all the points, I think you're good, because if you can teach it to somebody else, then you most likely have a good understanding of it. Another thing from the University of North Carolina is to test yourself, and I totally back this. You have to test yourself to make sure you actually have the knowledge. I mean, most of the time what we're studying for is tests, right? So you want to be prepared for the things you're going to be tested on. And if you're going to get 100 on the test you do yourself, it's most likely you're going to get a really good grade on the test that your teacher gives you, or your professor, or anybody else that would be giving you a test. And then the last two are from me. If you do have reading notes or vocabulary notes, because I understand we have to memorize stuff with meanings a lot, if you do have those notes, read them out of order. I cannot stress this enough. There is a lot of times where, and this was before I learned this tip, before I would just go through the vocab list as it goes, and you're not actually making sure that you know the material if you go in the same order every time. So say you have a list of 5 words and you do them in the A, B, C order that they're put in, that's not going to help you. You have to switch it up, do it in the B, the D, the A, and the C, and then that was 4, but it's okay. You do it in that order and just don't repeat the same order. You'll know you have the meaning if you could recite it back in a different order than what it's placed on the paper with. And then another really important one that I really stand by, and yes, this goes along with the test yourself, have somebody else quiz you so you can't see the material that you're studying at all. Having somebody else quiz you is one of the best ways that you can make sure you know something. And then after studying, what are the tips to retain this knowledge? So the routine for after studying. How am I going to memorize all of this? Do the routine consistently before the test to ensure your preparedness, but do not study for too long. And that one is one from the University of North Carolina. And I agree, because if you do it for so long, you get so hyper-focused on the one topic and you just keep doing it over and over and over, it's gonna be hard to keep doing that. So if you space it out and put it in little bits throughout the week, it will help you retain the knowledge. And that's also another one from the Studying 101 website from University of North Carolina. The little bits over the multiple days are better, and it will help you retain your information better. And, just remember it for the test when you don't have notes or anything. And then the last thing, try not to stress too much. This one really gets me. I stress out a lot about stuff. But if you just try not to stress out, it will be better for you in the long run. Alright, that's all I have for you today. I know it's kind of a short episode, but I'm thinking these episodes are probably going to be a little bit shorter anyways. Thank you for listening. Bye, guys.